Gillette Sensor for women. No other razor feels like it. An easy-to-hold handle for total control.
Gonna hold on to this feeling and never let it go.
Feel its spring-mounted blades and pivoting head hold on to every curve. So safe, so smooth. Sensor for women, the razor worth holding on to. Now there's Satin Care Shave Gel. It's moisture-rich for satiny smooth legs. New from Gillette.
Are you looking for outstanding value? That's what it takes for a car to be a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. And with a 205 horsepower V6, dual airbags, ABS, and a lot more, the Oldsmobile 88 has been a Best Buy 5 years running. Know how many other full-size cars can say that? Nobody, nobody, nobody. Kind of makes buying a car simpler, doesn't it? It's your money.
Has par 17. She's got the 2-shot lead, and now comes to the final hole, in this case because of fog on Thursday, the 54th hole of the tournament.
Well, and the fog is moving slowly down Stratton Mountain, but I think they'll get the 18th hole in. As you see, it's a par 5, 465 yards. It's a big dog leg left. The players, when it's dry, take maybe 4 or 5 wood off the tee, just set it up, and then they can hit their second shots downhill to a green that's reachable. But as we saw earlier, Getty's was close, and Kelly Robbins was pin high. Dottie Mockery now will just probably take her driver. Looks like she has, and just play it right down the center of the fairway. She'll be at the neck. Then she'll put a second shot downhill, maybe 30, 40 yards short of the green.
She's negotiated this very well, Mary. As you know, she has birdied the 18th in each of the first 2 rounds, and she's got a 2-shot bulge here. And then again, we will tell you, this is playing easier than any other hole on the course this week.
And she has that driver that she started using a few months ago. She's added about 10, maybe 12 yards to her driving average with this driver, and she's hit it also very straight. Let's watch the swing here. It's a good one.
Likes it. Not even looking.
Well, for the lady whose kindergarten teacher told her she was too hyper and too intense, she certainly hasn't lost any of it, and she's brought it to the right business golf, because intensity is what you need.
And now let's take a look at Mary's Telestrator, brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, Dottie sets up with a very strong left side. You can see that she has her hands even and left arm right out here, but her hands particularly are very, very strong. From there, she makes a little slide back this direction, and she's trying to get a little shallower in the takeaway, which she does there. Pretty good turn, gets off her left heel slightly, which a lot of women do. A little bit past parallel at this point, but that's okay. She makes a strong move with her hips, then swings that club, lets it release past the body, and look at that. There's the swing of a champion, and there's a woman who, for 5 straight years, has won well over $400,000 and is at the top of her game and the top of the LPGA.
And remember, before this, $373,000. She'll go well over $400,000 with this $75,000 check today. Now to Pat Bradley. In the fairway. They're on the 18th, the final hole in this shortened by fog McCall's LPGA Classic, and it looks like it belongs to Dottie Mockery. Dottie Mockery trying to win her second tournament of this year. She also won the Skins game down in Frisco, Texas. It would put over the $3 million mark, and she would have nearly $450,000 in earnings this year should she negotiate the 18th. And we all saw her tee shot, and she's very safe on a hole that she's birdied the first 2 rounds.
Well, she'll be the 7th LPGA player to cross the $3 million mark.
Well, they're looking at a beautiful view. We've seen a lot of high shots through the fog this week, coming from our crane provided by the Albany Ladder Company of Albany, New York. Tell you what, Bear, when you can have a great time in an area with weather such as they've had here today, you know how beautiful and how great the area is, because it has been a great stay in Vermont. The weather's not cooperative, though.
It's a marvelous spot. We've had a great hotel and a nice little Stratton Mountain Village up there. The restaurants have been fun. And probably the one having the most fun this week is Dottie Mockery, though.
And to do it before her father and mother.
You know, she's had a lot of personal trials and tribulations earlier in the year, and it's nice to see somebody overcome that and be strong and really get to the top of their game now. Vicky Furgon.
She's on the LPGA Executive Committee. Very well respected by her peers. Veteran pro. Yes, she's on 18. Gets her par. And has a par round of 72. Remained at 600. Good check for Vicky.
Well, believe it or not, there are spectators here. Umbrellas out, kind of having some fun.
What you're missing, the fact when you take a look at the fog and the rain with the winds that have been gusting up to 15 miles an hour, it feels like it's in the low 60s or high 50s. It is not a very pleasant day unless you're dressed warmly.
Might say, Jim, this has been a nice swing for the LPGA. We played Springfield, Massachusetts, the Friendly Classic last week. Next week we go to Boston. So this swing through New England has really been wonderful.
All right, let's rejoin Sandra Post.
Pat Bradley with her fairway wood. She's 222 yards to the front of this green. And the air is so heavy. Such a long shot today.
Sandra, that's one of the first shots we've seen hit in the last hour that hasn't splashed. She caught that very cleanly, but there was really no way to reach the green whatsoever. As you said, the air is heavy, probably playing more like 240.
Amy now, of course, with her 3-wood.
Well, she's passed the test, hasn't she?
She has.
Sandra?
She
She's
really
passed
has.
the test.
She will really be proud of herself tonight too, and I think she's smiling now and she's relaxing now. She's in the home stretch.
Of course, a birdie here would be pretty helpful to
Really
her.
help her bank account, wouldn't it, Mary?
Put her in a tie for third with Jane Geddes.
I like her golf swing too. She's got a lot of spirit, and she's going to do very well out here. She's pulled it left, but can't hurt her over there.
And here is the star of the tournament. Started out today not in the lead, along with Pat Bradley.
Hold on 1 second. Sir, you're going to have to stand. By the way,
Then
over there.
jumped ahead of Bradley as she began to make birdies, and Pat began to pick up a few bogeys. And so now it's all Dottie Mockery. The tie has been broken. Bradley has faded, and Mockery, second shot, 18.
Interesting how far that ball is back in her stance. She must have a little downhill lie.
Just slightly, Mary. She's hit a great shot, staying in the air a long time.
She might get to the ball before the ball lands.
You're right about that, and why not? Dad is watching, and she's going to win. There has been a lot of great golf today, but this is the sensational shot of the day, brought to you by York Peppermint Patties.
Kelly Robbins on the 16th hole with a 4-iron, about 190 yards. And watch this one, ladies and gentlemen.
If you can. Incredible. Now back live. Dottie Mockery got quite an ovation as she came up the group, but then again, Pat Bradley is also from this area, and this is her third shot here on 18. 2 over for the day.
With a pitching wedge. And of course, you want to try to fly this back to the pin, because even from the player's viewpoint, you can see the standing water on the green.
Well, Bradley hit an excellent shot, Sandra. She's about 9, maybe 8 or 9 feet for her birdie, which would be a nice way to finish. She struggled somewhat today.
Now Amy has a good lie in the rough here. And sometimes it's nice to see a player before you hit the shot. It gives you an idea of a sense of feel of how hard to hit this shot.
When the grass is wet in the rough like this, the main thing is to make sure you hold tightly onto the club, because that grass can really grab the club face and turn it.
You want to come down very steeply, the club, very steeply on the ball. You don't want a lot of grass and water to get between the club face and the ball. You can see it splash there.
Now, if I were a betting person, Sandra,
And you are.
Which I am. I'm going to say that Dottie Mockery just has better than a 50-50 shot at making the birdie here. She wants to finish with flair. And, you know, it's interesting. 11 under par at this point for a 3-day tournament. So she, at 12 under, she'd be setting the record because this tournament's always been 4 days as we were fogged out the first day.
She's got a sand wedge in her hand, so she'll fly it nice and high. Right back to that pin.
Look at this. Dottie Mockery's going to set 2 records today. The 54-hole record here is 10 under par. She's 11 now. And the other record is she's going to win for the first time in front of Mom and Dad. So it's a great day for Dottie Mockery. Her second win of the year, plus the skins game. She lost another tournament possibility to Rosie Jones in the sudden death playoff, but this is her moment. Remember, she skied here before and played here a lot.